Now to debate number 2. 4 decades after Sikhs were massacred in Delhi's Pulbanga area, there's a big boost to the victims' quest for justice. The shadow of the 1984 Anti-Sikh Riots haunts former Congress Member of Parliament Jagdish Tytler, with a Delhi court ordering framing of charges against him in a case related to alleged murder of 3 people in Pulbanga area during the 1984 riots. The court said that there was sufficient proof against Tytler to put him on trial. Remember, the CBI had filed a charge sheet against Tytler in May last year, accusing him of inciting, instigating and provoking the mob that had assembled near the Pulbanga Gurudwara. This significant order marks a major step towards justice for victims and their families nearly 4 decades after the tragic events.
This order is a big relief for the victims and for the complainant. There was ample evidence from the at the initial stage as well, but it was glossed over and it was not taken into consideration. Initially, when the FIR was registered at PS Bada Hindu Rao, this case is pertaining to Bada Hindu Rao police station, and where the police had registered this case, but they had not recorded any statements of the witnesses who had witnessed the crime, who had also witnessed his presence at the scene on 1/11/84.
हम भी तो अपने परिवार के लिए रो रहे हैं ना। हमारे पिताजी चले गए, हमारे भाई चले गए, हमारे एक-एक घर के 10-10 जने चले गए। हम कैसे उन दिनों को याद करते हैं? जब हम बात करते हैं हमारे आंखों के सामने वो सीन आ जाते हैं। कैसे वो जल्लाद हमारे परिवार को, जिंदों को मार रहे हैं, काट रहे हैं, जला रहे हैं, वो कैसे तड़प रहे हैं, पानी पानी कर रहे हैं, वो पानी मांग रहे हैं और उनके ऊपर पेट्रोल डाल रहे हैं।
हम तो यही चाहते चलना चाहिए। हम तो यही चाहते जैसे बलवंत सिंह और केर सिंह को फांसी दी थी, इसको जगदीश टाइटलर को और इनको भी फांसी दी जाए।
हमें उम्मीद है जिस तरह सज्जन कुमार जेलों के सलाखों के पीछे, ये भी बहुत जल्द जगदीश टाइटलर जेलों के पीछे होगा। हमारी जो ये मेहनत है 40 साल की, जो हम कोर्टों के धक्के खा रहे, पूरा हमारा 84 का जो पूरा पीड़ित परिवार है, 1900 विधवा कॉलोनी बनी हुई है तिलक नगर में, पूरा परिवार हम सब यहाँ हर तरीके पे आते हैं।
कॉलोनी का नाम भी रख दिया विडोज कॉलोनी। कितनी बड़ी ये सरकार ने, एक तो सरकार ने बनवा दिए बंदे, दूसरा विधवा कॉलोनी, नाम भी हमारी कॉलोनी का विधवा कॉलोनी रख दिया।
BJP has stepped up its attack on Congress following the court's decision, and they have come out to say that the Congress has defended Tytler and other accused in the past, saying the wheels of justice have finally moved now.
कांग्रेस का हाथ हमेशा सिख नरसंहार करने वाले दंगाइयों के साथ। जिस प्रकार से जगदीश टाइटलर पर कोर्ट ने आदेश दिया है कि जगदीश टाइटलर के खिलाफ चार्जेस फ्रेम होने चाहिए 1984 के नरसंहार में शामिल होने के लिए, उसमें दंगे करवाने के लिए, हजारों सिख लोगों को मारने के लिए, आज कांग्रेस पार्टी को सिख समुदाय से माफी मांगनी चाहिए। पर कांग्रेस पार्टी ने तो हमेशा दंगाइयों को संरक्षण दिया। राजीव गांधी ने कहा कि बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है तो धरती थोड़ी सी हिल जाती है। उन्होंने तो 1984 राइट्स को जायज ठहराया था।
जहाँ तक न्यायालय का सवाल है, कोर्ट का सवाल है, कानून का सवाल है, न्यायालय हर तरह के साक्ष्यों का, सबूतों का परीक्षण करने के बाद कोई निर्णय देती है। उसमें तो किसी को कुछ कहने नहीं है, कमेंट की ज़रूरतें नहीं है। लेकिन जो एक संवैधानिक प्रावधान के आधार पर एक व्यक्ति को भी अपने हक और अधिकार के लिए, अपने साक्ष्य और सबूत के आधार पर अपने आप को निर्दोष साबित करने का जो अधिकार है, उसके दिशा में निश्चित रूप से, क्योंकि वो जनसेवक हैं, एक लंबे समय से सेवा का उनका इतिहास रहा है, लोगों की सेवा किया है, लोगों के बीच में काम किया है, उस चीज़ को देखते हुए निश्चित रूप से अगला कदम उठाएंगे।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And for more on this, joining us at the moment are Mr. H.S. Fulka, who is a senior advocate in the Supreme Court, has also played a very key role in the struggle of the 84 riot victims. Also with us is Kapil Madan, political analyst and lawyer. Joining us, of course, from debate number 1, and continuing on the show are Tehseen Poonawala as well as Pradeep Bhandari. Let me start with you first. Ms. H.S. Fulka, in the long road for justice as far as the 84 riots victims are concerned, how significant is today's hearing, and are you hopeful that now Jagdish Tytler will finally be facing justice?
Yes, we are quite hopeful, but unfortunately, you see, this is a very rare case. Probably the first time in the country where the 3 times the CBI filed the closure report, and all 3 times the court rejected the closure report filed by the CBI. Well, it shows that how fragile is our system is. A powerful person like Jagdish Tytler, how he can cause the total system has failed. The victims has been telling from day one that Jagdish Tytler was involved. There has been newspaper reports about his involvement. There also has been allegations continuously against him. First, the case is not registered. Then the case is registered after Nanavati report in 2005. After that, in 2007, closure report filed. In 2009, closure report filed. Then in 2014, closure report filed. 3 closure report and all 3 rejected by the court. Ultimately, in December 2015, the court said, now the court will monitor the investigation. Now, it is a result of that today the investigation was conducted properly, and today we have the charge sheet. And today the court says the evidence which has come is sufficient to proceed with him for the trial of murder of 3 persons. So this shows that how fragile is the system is.
Yeah.
That's very, very unfortunate.
Right. Let me bring in Kapil Madan on this. Kapil Madan, there have been various commissions, not just the Nanavati Commission. Before that, in fact, there were different commissions that were set up by Madan Lal Khurana. There was another Jain Agarwal committee report that was set up and gave its recommendations in 93. In that also the name of Mr. Tytler along with Mr. Bhagat Shastri, Madhavdas Shastri and Sajjan Kumar was mentioned. In the other reports that was set up, the R.S. Narula committee of 94 also said that Mr. Bhagat, Mr. Sajjan Kumar and Tytler, there should be cases filed against them. And of course, we all know what happened in the Nanavati Commission. Despite all of this, why is it that the Congress party was seen patronizing Mr. Jagdish Tytler? In the year 2021, Jagdish Tytler is among 37 permanent invitees to the DPCC. In 2022, he's the list of 40 members of the PEC for the MCD polls. In December 2022, he's seen during party meetings in connection with the Youth Yuva Morcha, the Youth Congress, I beg your pardon. All such actions that have taken place, raising very serious questions. Whether the Congress party was very actively patronizing Mr. Tytler, and that, at the end of the day, that shows that there is a huge amount of political influence that Mr. Tytler wields, which is why the wheels of justice have perhaps moved so slowly.
So, Madhav, let me make a very quick 2 points here. Mr. Fulka is a very seasoned lawyer here. Mr. Fulka started his opening remark and said that, Mr. Tytler is a powerful person, and, there was 3 closure reports filed, and thereafter, the CBI filed charge sheet. Because Mr. Fulka is also meticulously involved in this, contesting this case. I ask a question to Mr. Fulka: is there any charge frame for destruction of evidence or qua influencing of investigation by Mr. Tytler? To best of my knowledge, the answer is no. To say here on a channel that, so-and-so is powerful and that was the reason why a closure was being filed regularly is not coming, from the record. That's point number 1. Now, point number 2 here is, Madhav, we all know, and Mr. Fulka would agree with me on this point, is that an accused is presumed to be innocent until, proven guilty. That's our fundamental jurisprudence on criminal law. And let me also give you a very, short brief on what happens when the court hears the argument on charge. The court, only for a limited purpose to find out whether there exists a prima facie case or not, goes through the evidence filed by the prosecution to form a preliminary view whether the case has sufficient material to proceed further or not. Not that what has been said by the prosecution has been accepted by the court as gospel truth. The prosecution will need to prove its case. The prosecution will need to lead evidence, and the court will have to be convinced, basis the evidence and the material produced, that yes, accused has played some role in commission of the offense. It is only thereafter you can call someone as guilty, because that's the process and that's the mandate of law. What I would, say here is that Mr.
Look, these are procedural issues, perhaps they're important from the legal perspective, but since you've asked a pointed question to Mr. Fulka, I want him to respond to you. He's the one who's tracked the case. Mr. Fulka, the charges of destruction of evidence, etc. are not there against Mr. Tytler, and the case against him currently as it stands would be very difficult to prove. That's essentially the sum and substance of what Kapil Madan is saying. Please respond to him.
First of all, in 2007, 2005 cases are registered. That is after 21 years. When that also, when the Nanavati Commission gave the recommendation that the case should be registered, the government, that time the Manmohan Singh government rejected the recommendation. Then thereafter there was a hue and cry in the parliament, and even the parties who were supporting the then UPA government, the Communist Party, the CPM, they also came out with this, that the case must be registered, will not support the government. It is faced with this situation that the government accepted and registered the cases. Tytler had to resign as a minister at that time. Then in 2007, October, the CBI filed the closure report and giving the clean chit to Tytler. Within 2 months in December, the court rejects it and says that here are the witnesses which you have not examined. The CBI in the closure report says this witness is not traceable. And we gave the address of that witness, that here are the witness gives the affidavit that I am prepared, nobody has approached me. Now this is the kind of thing. Now after that, then 2009 when they filed, 2009 the main witness came out and said that the Tytler had threatened me, his people kidnapped me, this was on your show only, he gave the interview, and he says he got my signatures on the blank papers, and now that is the allegation. Then again this, and again the court says you have not properly investigated the case. The court second time also said the same thing happened the third time.
Yes.
Now what meant, who's involved, but who's responsible for this? Tell me who's responsible for this. If the investigation, if a premier investigation agency like CBI does not know that how to conduct the investigation, they were intentionally give him the benefit. They were conducting the faulty investigation. That is the court rejected out all three times.
Okay. Kapil, respond to that and listen to what has been stated as far as this particular order is concerned, that they found a mob comprising thousands of people shouting slogans that the Gurudwara will be completely burnt, fire raging inside. In fact, there was, of course, the CBI report, etc. The role of Jagdish Tytler that has been stated by one of the witnesses is that Tytler was leading a mob on the 1st of November 84 when this person's father was killed in front of the Gurudwara Pul Bangash. Also, of course, that he was leading a particular mob. There's several statements as far as witnesses are concerned and as far as the role of Mr. Tytler. Can this, be dismissed summarily in terms of what the witnesses are saying?
So, Madhav, I will say one thing. Whatever is being said during the course of the investigation needs to be tested in the court once the evidence is led. What you say before the court is not the evidence. What you say before the cops is not the evidence. What you say before the court is the evidence. And at that moment, the other side also gets to cross-examine the witness to check, to shake his credibility, whether the witness has stated properly, whether the witness has identified the accused properly, whether there are any chances of tutoring of the witnesses, whether there is any chances of, planting of the witnesses. All these issues will have to be seen during the course of the trial. And I would, very humbly, since Mr. Fulka is here, in the initial stages, Mr. Fulka said that, there were some allegation that the witnesses have been threatened, etc. Has there any charge framed by the court on this issue? I will humbly ask Mr. Fulka to give clarity on this point.
Okay, no, that point he has answered, but I want to bring in Tehseen. Tehseen, the point being made over here is this, that here is Tytler, who has repeatedly been patronized by the Congress leadership. Therefore, it's no surprise that it's taken 40 years for him to face the long arm of the law.
Not true at all. Mr. Tytler was a minister when the Congress UPA government filed charges against him. Now Mr. Fulka, for whom I have a lot of respect, may say whatever the reason, the fact is the CBI the Congress government filed charges against him. Point number one. Point number two, and this is the important point. Mr. Fulka on this channel is completely taking away the credibility of the CBI, alluding that the CBI works on the government's instructions. If that is true, how do you know the CBI today is working independently? Why is it not working today? To only tarnish the image of the Congress? So look, this is not what it is. Because has any action been taken against those officers who were giving clean chits to Mr. Tytler? No. So what is it? The fact is, unfortunately, there was the 84 riots, which are terrible. The then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji and Sonia ji apologized for it, unlike calling it puppies under a wheel, as said by the current Prime Minister of India for the Gujarat riots. The Congress is the only one delivering justice. Yes, the wheels of justice are slow. It is unfortunate, but only the Congress is delivering justice, unlike the BJP.
Pradeep Bhandari, respond to that the response of the Congress and the BJP, there's a marked difference, and the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has then apologized. Rahul Gandhi has acknowledged that about the incident and said that it was a deeply painful tragedy. Respond to it.
Madhav, my primary argument is this, that Jagdish Tytler continues to still be the member of the Congress party. As early and as late as Mallikarjun Kharge's oath, Jagdish Tytler was present. Now the charges have been framed, Madhav, under 143, 147, 153A, 188, 295, 436, 451, 380, 302, 109. So prima facie, the court believes that the charges against Jagdish Tytler deserves a trial. Now my question is simple, Madhav, that the circumstances are similar, the witnesses have been examined. Still date, why is the Congress party not suspended Jagdish Tytler? And if I take this argument forward, Madhav, no individual in public life against whom prima facie allegations of charges of corruption are framed, charges of rape are framed, charges of riot are framed, they will not be ever removed from political party.
Tehsil, I want to ask you a simple question. Was he not given a ticket in 2009? A shoe was thrown at Mr. Chidambaram in a press conference and the ticket had to be cancelled. Why get into these embarrassing situations when you know the gravity of the charges?
I completely agree and bow down to that. But let me ask my good friend Pradeep one question. And I agree with what Pradeep says principally. When the Honorable current Home Minister of India faced terrible riot charges, including by the courts asked not to enter the state of Gujarat, did he resign and leave the BJP? Why did he not leave the BJP? There he chose to fight it on. I am saying what applies and holds true for the Home Minister of India also held true as you are innocent and you are guilty for Jagdish Tytler. Okay. I'm not supporting Jagdish Tytler. I am saying the same principle. They don't apply it.
Okay.
Then was Mayak or Nani kicked off?
Okay, same yardstick must be applied. Pradeep.
Madhav, 10 seconds, simple question. Why has Congress party not suspended Jagdish Tytler today?
Why did they not suspend Amit Shah ji then?
That's what about why has the Congress today? Charges have been framed.
Okay.
Charges have been framed. The court has admitted he was no longer there allowed to go to Gujarat for 2 years. Please answer.
Why did he not remove it?
I want to ask Mr. Fulka. Mr. Fulka, let me bring in Mr. Fulka. Mr. Fulka, is there a difference in the approach that is seen in the two cases? Because, our panelists here are comparing 2002 with 1984. Is there a difference in the approach as is being alleged over here by Tehsin Poonawala?
You see, the point is, unfortunately, whenever the debate about the mass violence and the riots and the innocent of the killing of the innocent people starts, it becomes whose riot is a bigger riot, whose riot is a worse riot. It always starts like this. Delhi versus Gujarat, Gujarat versus Delhi. Why not both are punished? Whosoever is responsible for Delhi, if I tell you, if those responsible for Delhi riots would have been punished, you wouldn't have seen Gujarat. The Delhi riots, those who are responsible, Delhi riots started a trend, not punishing, rather giving them the high positions. Delhi riots started a trend that making them ministers, all the police officers who are responsible, giving them promotions. That is what started. The people who played with the innocent lives, they are being honored. They are being given power. Now this is what has started from 1984. And we are facing it. And every time when the debate starts about killing of the innocent people, and it becomes Delhi versus Gujarat. The point is that you should ask them.
Yes.
That those who have killed the innocent, they need to be punished. This is not Congress versus BJP. This is not anyone versus anything. Why the innocent
I think there's a fair point over there. There's a fair point. There's a fair point. Why do we politicize everything? At the end of the day, people have died. There are mass killings that have happened. It doesn't matter if it's 84 or if it's 2002 or any other riot that has taken place in any other part of the country. Ultimately, if our Indian citizens are killed, should the law not act impartially? It's a larger question. Why do we have to politicize even such aspects? And if the laws finally, the wheels are turning, why, try and find these lacunae and these political differences?
So, Madhav, I completely agree with you here. And on this aspect, I agree with Mr. Fulka that ultimately, if someone has lost his life, there has to be a thorough investigation. There should be justice, and that should be the mandate of the law. And there should not be any politicization on this issue. And perhaps for this reason, I said that, let the trial happen. You need to have a fair trial, which is fair to both the accused and both the complainant. So, my only submission at this moment is that we should make a genuine endeavor to avoid a media trial and let the court proceed with the trial. Let the evidence happen. Let the matter be heard on merits. And once the court comes to a conclusion, if someone has committed the offense, there should be the strictest of punishment. But if a person who has not committed the offense, or if he has been wrongly booked, then he should not.
Okay, Pradeep Bhandari, is this a media trial? Is this a media trial, or are we covering the court proceedings?
Just 2 points. This is a very wrong precedent of principle that Kapil is saying. What Kapil is saying that individuals who are...
1 minute.
Individuals who are in public
Mr.
life...
Fulka wants... I'll just give... Mr. Fulka, very quickly, please. Very quickly.
You see, the point is that media trial, when the guilty are not punished, when the guilty are not booked, when the no action is taken, when the guilty are giving the power position, it becomes the duty of the media to highlight. This is not a media trial. Okay. This is the highlighting the miseries of the innocent people of India.
I'm very glad you clarified that. Pradeep.
Madhav, just 2 quick points. A, the intent of the Congress party was questioned because then the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi said, "जब कोई बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है तो धरती थोड़ी-थोड़ी हिलती है." So there was an admission at the part of the Congress party on the intent. Number 2, the prima facie what Kapil Madan is trying to say, Madhav, and this is what the conclusion should be on the panel, that do we agree to the principle that Kapil Madan is saying, that if individuals in public life who've been charged with mass rioting, who've been charged with murder, who've been charged with killing innocent citizens, who've been charged with murder, rape, if prima facie charges are being framed against them, should they resign on moral ground or not?
I think there are some very fundamental and some very important questions that are certainly arising out of this debate. All eyes are on what the courts will do. It's been over 4-decade wait for the victims. Imagine that your family members were brutally killed and you have not received justice. Is that acceptable to any citizen in any part of India? It's a question that certainly arises out of the 84 riots in Delhi, certainly out of the 2002 riots also in Gujarat. But the larger question is, will justice be done? We'll have to leave it there. I'd like to thank all our panelists, Ms. H.S. Fulka, Pradeep Bhandari, Tehseen Poonawala, Advocate Kapil Madan. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.